Welcome back to our Rain podcast, and it is literally just unbearable. It's unbearable. The fan is on full blast, by the way, but it's not making a difference. I'm really not feeling the worst of it. This week, oh god, it's just bad, really bad. Anyway, so what we're going to do today is we're going to focus more on summer camps, seeing how we are pretty much in the thick of the summer months, and we're still in the intensity of the off season. Now, we haven't really talked about summer camps before on the podcast because a lot of the time they've been happening in obviously each team's respective markets. But today we're going to talk about camps that have been happening outside of the PHL's respective markets, particularly our Minnesota Frost. Now, when I heard about these, I thought, oh my god, absolutely just brilliant work. And of course, it would be my team that would have the initiative to basically take, their camps outside of Minnesota and just, try and grow the game, really. Obviously, we did report on those, camps that happened early in the summer with PHL Zaze, because obviously PHL Zaze had 3 summer camps happening in the early part of the summer. They had one in Zaze first, then they went to Oakland, which you guys know is where my baseball roots lie, and then their third one was in Fremont. We did do an episode covering all the details of that respective camps. But this has just happened very recently. It's only just these camps in SoCal have only just recently finished up, and I would love to see more teams do summer camps outside of their respective market, because you can hold camps in your market any time of the year, even during the season itself, But to see the opportunity for our league to go outside of its traditional markets, and try and grow the game, and get more people involved than before. Especially now we do actually have a team in California. We need to see more Californian-born players want to take up the game and want to just come and join the league. So obviously we've got Dominic Petrie on our Minnesota Frost. There's also Brock Bryant, who of course has just very recently signed with Peter Zaze. And then of course you've got Caleb Barnes, who of course was originally with Montreal, then went to Seattle, and of course is now with the expansion team Detroit. So just 3 players there. So we need to we'd love to see, when we need to see more players from California get the opportunity to come into the league and just grow the footprint, because I could easily see like how Ontario in Canada has got 3 PHL teams in their barn. So obviously the Scepters, Charge, and of course Hamilton, who of course will be arriving this season. I could easily see 2 or 3 teams put in the state of California, because California is such a big market. It's one of the most popular states in the United States, followed by Texas. And I personally can tell you from 17 years of being with the Zaze Sharks, I can tell you how big of a hockey market California is, especially the AHL. Obviously, there's 3 AHL teams in California: Sharks, Ducks, and Kings. Then over in the AHL, half of our Pacific Division is made up of California teams. You got us, the Barracuda, the lone Californian team in that division. It wasn't always the case. We did used to have another North Cal team in Stockton, the Stockton Heat, but they of course relocated to Calgary in 2022 and became the Wranglers. So right now you've got Bakersfield, Ontario, San Diego, and Coachella Valley. Then obviously there's us in Zaze. And then the other 5 markets in that division are from Colorado, Calgary, Abbotsford, Henderson, and Tucson. So I know how big that California is a market. And I think Texas also is now another of those markets that is starting to become a bit too big for hockey as well, because the AHL it has just very recently started a consultation to see if they can maybe put another team in, maybe say Houston or Austin. So I think that might be something to keep an eye on, because obviously the takeaway tour we had in Dallas back in December only got about 8,000 people. But let's say if Houston gets a proper facility for hockey, then maybe that could be something to keep an eye on, and maybe look at see if Houston will work better than actually being in Dallas. So I mean, there is already an arena in Houston that we could technically use for a takeaway tour game, but the owner that's not been really keen on having hockey come in there. So, but there's no harm trying and wrangle it, and maybe we can test the market out. But yeah, so I think Texas also now starting to come with those markets where it's too big for one team alone to have that market as a whole. So keep an eye on that consultation, because that might be useful for the PHL in maybe a few years' time. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So just brilliant to see the Frost, take their camps outside of Minnesota, and we go down to LA and Anaheim. So we had 2 camps, one in LA, which happened at the end of July, and then one in Anaheim, which kind of was like the first weekend of August. And I'll go through both of them in a moment. But what brilliant! Now I kind of feel like, is this the possibility of setting things up for future relations in SoCal? Because I do kind of think that maybe SoCal should potentially get a takeaway tour game next season. You could easily do one in both LA and Anaheim, but if you could pick one of them, I probably would go. I'm so glad you're not here. I would probably go more Anaheim, just because I know I can just see a lot of. And I might need to do a video on this. I can see a lot of marketing opportunities in Anaheim. Especially in hotels and corporate events and all that, of course, also Disneyland as a whole. Like how Las Vegas is also going to have lots of opportunities for marketing and all that, you give people free tickets and all that. Yeah, plus, of course, San Diego was thrown into the mix of potential expansion markets, so I know, we'll see how it goes, but yeah, so I think SoCal is something we need to watch in the next few years, because I think, if not the next expansion round, then the one after that, they'll definitely put a team in SoCal, hopefully Anaheim. But I could easily see this year maybe either Minnesota Stars matchup on the takeaway tour in Anaheim, or maybe Detroit Minnesota or Detroit Stars, whichever way you go. There's lots of combinations you can go there, but I would be very surprised if SoCal does not get put on the takeaway tour, because I think there is keen interest to put another team there. It's just you got to obviously make sure everything works, and you've got all the I's and T's dotted across and all that. Yeah, so really great to see my Frost just literally go out there and play their part in trying to help grow the league further. So I'll do the LA one first, and then I'll go for Anaheim, because obviously the LA camp happened first. So I'll just remind you what happened in each camp. So the LA camp happened on the 25th to the 26th of July, 2026, and it was hosted in collaboration with the LA Kings. And this was mainly targeted at under 12s and under 14s, as the focus was mainly on high level on ice and off ice training sessions, designed to sharpen fundamentals and build game awareness for experienced regional players. So this camp in LA was more for your younguns, so players who haven't really done hockey before, but are taking it up for the very first time, under 12s, under 14s. So yeah, so it's great to see them getting their awareness of how you go about on the ice, what happens off the ice. So yeah, so this was kind of like a very kid-centric camp there. So for these kids getting the opportunity to get their first taste of the ice for the very first time, getting to learn more about different programs they could be involved with if they want to take it further. So really great work there. Yeah. So, and a great, of course, as the LA Kings partner up for this event. So it didn't just feel like, we just came in and just took over their facilities for 2 days. No, they actually really did help a player a part in helping the camp run as smoothly as possible. Now the one in Anaheim, which just recap, so the one in Anaheim was from the 31st of July to the 2nd of August 2026, and this was held at two places: Great Park Ice and 5 Point Arena, which is the practice facility of the Anaheim Ducks. And I am actually familiar with that arena in Irvine, because 5 years ago, so during the COVID season, so the 2020-21 season, during that COVID season, in the AHL, the Pacific Division was the only division that chose to have a playoff tournament to crown their division champion. Whereas the other three divisions, so the Atlantic, Central, and North, all just said, no, we just want to do it by points percentage, and that decides to get their crown there. Now, you got to bear in mind, back then, each division in the AHL played a different amount of games, and we in the Pacific played the fewest. We only played 68 games, compared to the 72 and 76 that were being played by the other divisions. So, of course, it was a very short season. It only ran from January to May. So we were desperate to get as much games as we possibly could. And I remember the time thinking, on the one hand, it seems a bit of a farce, given how the playing system only involved everyone except the top three teams, and then the two actual playoff rounds were going to be best of threes. I thought it was a bit silly. At the time, I thought it's a bit of a farce, but at the same time, I can see the reason behind it, giving those players a bit more ice time, particularly for the Barracuda, because obviously we hadn't had playoffs since since 2019, so it was 5. Okay. And of course, the Barracuda won that play-in. I just don't get why they went top 3. You can have buys, when really it probably should have been the team that was top of the standings after points percentage, and then everyone else plays in. Because I just knew going to start playing, we were going to win it outright. The only other competitive team not playing were the Colorado Eagles. So I just knew it was going to be a complete farce. And so yeah, so I'm familiar with that arena in Irvine. It's where the Ducks have their practice facility, and I'm sure probably would be the ideal place for a practice facility if you were to put the PWHL in Orange County in the near to distant future. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah. So this camp obviously was partnered with the Ducks. So we had so it was obviously hosted in collaboration with the Anaheim Ducks. And the program's focuses was more on various different programs. You had girls beginners, youth, and then you also had women's beginners to intermediates. So for the youths, it was basically for girls aged 9 to 14 who are new to the game, and then the women's beginner intimate camp was for adult women looking to develop skills. And so I'm really glad you have two, because obviously the LA camp only had the one program. And it was for like the kids, which is fine. But there might be some, adult women out there who have all grown up, who might have got some skating expertise, but they haven't really taken up the actual sport of hockey before. And so what I'm really glad about Anaheim was you gave them the opportunity to have that moment and, see what it'd be like actually trying to play the game. So really great about Anaheim there. And it featured professional instruction, meet and greets, and autographs featuring Frost player and California native Dominic Petrie, alongside other organizations' staff. So, yeah. So I kind of feel the Anaheim camp was a lot more better than the LA camp, because the Anaheim camp gave, it didn't just give more options in terms of who could be part of it, but it also allowed the people who were there, to get up and personal with the team, just literally meet up with us, get over by the game. So yeah, so I feel like the Ducks did a lot better at collaborating with us than, say, the Kings camp did. But I think it's good on them for helping us with these kind of ways. Because this is the kind of collaboration I want to see with the AHL. You guys know I've been very critical about how I feel the AHL should be involved with the PWHL. I've been saying it since player times the AHL should just stay away from us as far as possible and just let us get on with it. Okay, because we've proven in these last 3 years we don't need them. Okay. Yes, we'll play your rinks, but we don't need you to basically stick your oar in. But I don't mind if AHL teams can find other ways to collaborate and get involved. Okay, I don't want a direct partnership where you literally are involved and you stick your oar and try and say we should maybe do things like this or do things like that and try and make changes. That I don't want. But I don't mind if every now and then you partner up with one of our teams to basically, put on a camp like this. Because there's so many great markets out there who have yet to get the PWHL, who I think could easily, provide the next wave of talent. So, if we can put on more camps like this, then that's really good. Obviously, the SARZA one did really good in trying to build an intrigue in the Bay Area. But I'm talking more about getting out of market camps, and that's what I want to see more. So, if any of the other PWHL teams do camps outside your market, please let me know because I can then report it back on the show. Okay, so I mean, obviously, camps your own city is fine. Just do you. But if you go do what we did and take camps outside of your home market, then to places that don't have a PHL, then let me know because I will report about it on the podcast. So that's what I want to do going forward. Because while California is now a PHL market, there's actually still a lot of California that you can go to. Right now, you've got the Bay Area coming in 2026, 27, but there's still a whole south of the border that that could easily also get in on the game and also be a part of the league in maybe, say, within the next 5 or maybe 10 years. I will be very surprised if in the next 10 years, if we don't see a SoCal team, because I think the California market is just too big for PHL to have on its own. I think for right now, find good and build up the interest and intrigue and the commitment to the league in that market. But once you feel like California's got themselves fully established, then maybe do what Ontario did and get 1 or 2 more teams put in. And I know we'll have people going, oh, not another one in California, but the market's too big, okay? Say in Ontario. The province of Ontario and Canada is far too big for just one sports team to call their own, okay? So I'm not surprised that Hamilton's joined the league, even though we've already got teams representing Ontario in terms of the Scepters and the Charge. It's clearly, and we saw it for the Taylor Tour game back in January, it's clear that there's a massive fan base for women's hockey in Hamilton who can't get to Tio or Ottawa on a regular basis, so it just makes sense for them to get their own team in there. And it'll be the same for California, because a lot of SoCal fans, they're probably going to find it hard to get into the Bay Area. Okay? So, and the roles would have been reversed if it had been SoCal got the team and not Zaza. So, Bay Area fans would have found it quite hard to get into SoCal. I mean, when I went out to Zaza for the very first time in 2018, I had a mini break in Anaheim as well, and I had to get a plane from Zaza into Anaheim, and it was not easy because it was an early flight. The airport staff were not helpful. Okay, not just because I had disabilities, but also because I was literally really exhausted because it was a really early flight. Yeah, so it makes sense if you can find if you know the market's big enough to house multiple teams, then do it. Okay, so I can easily see a team in SoCal in the future, and I would say go Anaheim because I've got a lot of ideas of how you can do the marketing in Ducky's backyard. So yeah, so I think that would be a good minute. So I'm really pleased that we literally the Frost got to do these camps outside Minnesota, and just help to grow the market. Yeah, and grow the game even further. I mean, it helps. Obviously, it helps if you got something on your roster that's from the area, which of course we did in Dominic Petrie. Okay, but I think let's see more of these out of town camps. They don't have to be summer camps. They could easily be camps you can maybe do during the season. Okay, so I'd love to see more of these going forward, and would love to report back on these more often. And this might actually help us get a good idea of which markets are building those relationships with the PWHL, and maybe potentially try to get the ground running to potentially get something more in return of it. Because you gotta start thinking, where could we be going next in terms of expansion? Because it will creep on us again before we even know it. And I think SoCal probably would be one of those markets that you would think maybe, just maybe, they might be in the line of succession. And I think it would make sense to put another team in California, because I know that market really well, going back 17 years now in the Bay Area for me. So I know that market really well. I know it can definitely house at least 2 teams. Maybe would not go far as go 3, like holding Ontario, but yeah, I know. Yeah, so don't be surprised if we start to see a more SoCal presence in this league, because they're trying to now build on this momentum that we're seeing in California now, and we're seeing more women's hockey get in the state, which is really good, really good. I'll be interested to see if San Diego gets on the Takeover tour this year. Now, San Diego, of course, is the Ducks AHL affiliate, so I know that market very well. Obviously, San Diego was thrown in with Vegas when the talks were about who's going to get expansion towards the end of the season. And then obviously it switched to Sarze. But wouldn't be surprised if on the Takeover Tour this year we see San Diego maybe get thrown in. It's like I could say, oh, you got so close to getting a team. Let's give you a Takeover Tour and let's put your money where your mouth is and see, can you do it. I wouldn't be surprised if on the Takeover Tour next season we do see a lot of those markets who got close but didn't get a team, and see if they get a Takeover Tour in return. Because I think that would be a great way to sweeten the deal with San Diego. Okay, you missed out and you were thrown the public domain. Have a Takeover Tour game. Let's see if you can do it there. But if we're thinking Orange County, I would say just go straight to Honda Center, because I have looked it up, and Ducky is the only tenant in Honda Center right now. So apart from Ducky's schedule, you would only have to worry about other events and concerts and all that. That you would have to worry about. But I think that could be really good, especially of course how you have D23, once every 2 years. You can maybe get the PHR involved there somehow, maybe. In fact, obviously it's D23 this weekend at time recording it on August the 14th. Obviously this episode will come out way before then, but yeah, so I'm recording this on the first day of D23 2026. On August the 14th. Tonight's going to be the heavy hitter, because tonight is basically about where you get details about, all the various different film companies under the Disney umbrella, basically saying, here's what you can look forward to in the next couple of years. So tonight's going to be the heavy hitter, and then tomorrow, so that's the 15th, is going to be the Parks panel. But we in this household, we are pretty much lowering our expectations this year, because the last expo literally just went above and beyond to basically, gave you so much. I don't think we're going to get any new details this time. I think it'll be just basically just updated on construction, but all what was announced at the last expo. I think the only thing major that we're expecting from DLP is potentially the branding for their 35th anniversary this time next year. Because next spring, we will be celebrating the 35th anniversary of DLP, so that'll be going on spring 27 all the way through to autumn 2028. Because we do like to, because we do love in DLP, we do love to milk an anniversary. So we are expect. So that's the only thing we are expecting. Because obviously the last one, Disneyland got their anniversary branding at the last expo. So we're expecting that this time for us. That's a major thing we're expecting. Because a lot of what we already know could be coming our way. We got told about back in April. We got some updates there. So we but you could potentially, if you were to put PHL in Holland Centre, you could maybe have a little area there each year and get people talk about it there, because D23 is very well attended each year. Well, it's like each time it gets held. It always gets held once every 2 years. Yes, I think you could easily put PHL there. So yeah, I think I'm going to need to do an episode about my ideas I got for Anaheim. I'll get Warwick on as well. We can do that another time, maybe. But yeah. But obviously, great work, obviously, for us to basically just take our camps out to markets that aren't in the PHL, but maybe could that one day be potentially in the PHL. So, really great work there. I'm going to be very excited to see. I'll be very intrigued to see if other teams follow suit and do camps outside of their home markets. And if you do, let me know, and I can report it back here on the show, because we'd love to do that. We'd love to get report that as well for the best we can. Okay, because it's all about doing what we can right now to grow the league. And I think the best way we can, particularly during these cruel hot summer months, the best way we can maybe get more people aware about us is to have like camps and get people who might not have thought about being part of the sport before thinking about maybe take it up, and that would be just really, really a good thing. So yeah, so great work. Okay, so obviously, and also I'm going to finish up by saying massive thank you to both the Kings and Anaheim Ducks, but obviously, partnering up with us to host these camps, so we really thank you for your collaboration on that front. Okay, that's all today. Thanks for joining us. Next time, take care.